Good morning. It's my morning today. So I got an hour spare, so I thought time I get on with this. So MOT did just over a month ago now. I was thinking what I really should be doing now is getting the timer belt done. Instead of that, I'm going to go and paint this bumper. I'm kind of sick of it looking like a baboon with a blue backside. So I've got a lot of free time at the moment. So I don't want to be getting stuck into the engine bay, but what I can do is get this off today, and if I've got another hour spare tomorrow I can start sanding and painting it. So if I just lift this up, looking on how this comes off, there should be something in there, but instead they've just chucked screws through it. So that's something I'm going to need to look at. I was thinking what I could do once I refit it. Might use something like that, bigger. So that's fixed onto there. And there's going to be some coach screws going along here, going into like plastic fittings into the rear quarter. Or there might not be. Okay, we'll come to that. And be the same on the other side. Oh goodness, what is holding this bumper on? It's a bit in happy thoughts, I don't know. From what I gather, there's something underneath as well. No. So no, actually, is it just those two wood screws that are holding his back bumper on? Right, okay. Yeah, this car's full of surprises. So if you're doing this yourself, you can normally pull this back and get the screws up there. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to jack it up now, get these back wheels off, just for the benefit of being able to get the camera in there. So that's what I'm going to do next. So I probably won't be taking the wheels off today. You can probably see why. So when I went to take the lock and wheel nuts off, the key just broke apart. They were on there really tight as well. I didn't put them on tight because I went along and put these wheels back on. So there must be some sort of corrosion going on, I don't know. So I'm going to ignore that for now and just try and poke in here as best I can. So there should be some sort of like these type things holding this wheel arch, wheel liner on, and just this sort of tool pops it right off, so I don't have to bother with that. So can I see in there? So normally if you pull that back, look into there, could do with 3 hands. Okay, that just pops off. Yeah, curious. So there should be screws in there. Okay, perhaps that's just front. So I popped these screws out now, and is it really only those 2 screws holding this entire bumper on? That doesn't seem right. Okay, that's unstable. So this is what was confusing me on the front, where the front wings are. Instead of this thing, you have something similar to these, but square, and that pops into there, and you put the screw through the bumper into these roll plugs. But what seems to have on the back is this, which this bit's supposed to clip into, and I don't know, something's broken off. I don't know. can't quite figure this one out. What I'm going to do is, I'm not going to do anything with it now, but I'm going to have a look online and see what it's supposed to look like. But when I put it back on, I need something more secure on there. Yeah, worry about that later. So with the bumper off, it gives me a good chance to have a good look underneath. And the bumper bars looking a bit crusty, so and the two and I. And just that little corner over there. So before that gets any worse, okay, so I've gone over this with a wire brush, just knocked off all the loose stuff, and used this Bonder primer. It's a zinc primer, and you can brush it on, and it's red, so I thought it'll do the trick. So you're not going to stop this car from rusting, but you can slow it down a little bit. So I've gone into there some more than I meant to do, but yeah, I just want to get all the loose stuff off. So yeah, it's good enough for now. You're not going to see this anyway. So with that done, I can crack on with the bumper now. So before to piece. So you can see the tabs. So I just need to bend these out. Okay, that's nice and easy. And this one's a little trickier, so I might use turns. And the centerpiece got clips all the way around, and it's held in with cable ties, coasters. So same thing with these, just run around, pop this off. So that's all stripped down now. And next thing to do would be to give it a good scrub, because especially around these areas, just absolute dirt traps. The amount of dirt that was behind these reflectors even was just ridiculous. So I pulled all these apart now as well. Any time I can avoid masking up, I'll take it. So all the grey plastic, kind of prefer the grey, but on the front it's already been painted black. So I think I'm going to go gloss black with everything. And the only damage I can see with this bumper is this raised bit here. So don't know what I could do with that, but I'll give it a go. Probably need some heat on there and get it back into shape. Otherwise it's just maybe a little bit of filling. Yeah, it's all looking good. So after cleaning the bumper, I scuffed up the existing paint with I didn't have any Scotch-Brite to hand, so I've used something fine. I think it was about 400 grit sanding pad. So there's some bits I've missed, so I'm going to go over that again, but I also need to do a little bit filling here and there. I think there's a few chunks along the edge. Makes sense, is where it's loaded into the boot. And there's still this bit, it's creased along there and it's bulging out a little bit. So I think I may need to use a bit of heat on that. But otherwise, oh yeah, and there's whatever's missing from the clips for there. But I'll get back to that. Otherwise it's looking okay, I think. There's no obvious cracks or massive dents in this one, so should go fairly well. So carrying on with the prep, I need to sort this crease out. It's quite slight, but where it is where the tailgate closes, so it's right there in your face every time you go to the boot. So I've seen a video on, well, I've seen a few videos where use a bit of heat and a wet cloth to try and, you know, use a wet cloth to push it down back into shape and cool it down at the same time. So I've got no idea if that's going to work or not, but I'm going to give it a go. So I'm not going to use too much heat. And try not to focalize it too much either. Try and spread it around the entire crease. Yeah, that has actually worked a little bit. Okay, I think it's going to take a few goes, but I think I'm on the right track. So after only about 5 minutes, I think that's good as I can get it. It's straight enough, so I know the paint's blistered, but that's fine because I'm sanding all this off anyway because it needs a bit of filler. And when I do that, I'm going to go around and find all these little chips, sand all this down now, and get some filler on it. Yeah, there's quite a few. So that's my next job. This is what I'm up to. I'm on the second round of filler now. The first lot, I think it was a bit old and it wasn't going off the way I thought it should have been. So I sanded it all back again and found some newer filler. I filled in the screw holes. I wasn't sure whether I was going to reuse these or not, but I thought probably won't, but just in case I can always dig it back out from behind anyway. So I thought I'll just fill it in for now because I probably won't be using them. But yeah, just waiting for that to go off now. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to move on to the grey plastics. And these didn't need any work really, they just clean, scuff them up. And they've had 2 coats of primer now I think. And I think that was probably an hour ago now, so it's probably ready for the gloss back. So while I'm waiting for the filler to go off, I think I'm going to start spraying the black on these. So the grey bits are now black, and they've had a second coat. It's going to need a third and possibly fourth, especially as bits. I don't know. See what it looks like when it dries. And while that's drying, I put a bit of filler primer on the bits that I filled, just to see what bits I can get away with and what I can't. And I think the only bit is that really. Just give out another quick skim and possibly a little bit on there, but otherwise I'm pretty happy with it. So slap some more filler on that now, and once that's sanded it's ready for some primer. Fourth coat, and I think I'm happy with this now, so anything stuck in the paint I'll get those out and then get some clear lacquer on it. And I finally got the first coat of red primer on this. See, this bit's looking a lot better now. It's not entirely invisible, but you probably wouldn't know, you probably wouldn't see it if you didn't know what you were looking for. Yeah, I'm happy with that as a first coat. I'll give a good base for the rest of the coats to go on. So just got a little bit of straw now. So this is what I stand at the moment. All the black bits have had 1 coat of lacquer now. It's just flashing off. And the bumpers now had 3, I think, coats of primer. It was a truck today. So that's now ready for top coat. Needs a bit of drying still, but almost ready for top coat. And I'll probably only do 2 coats of lacquer on this. I'll see how it looks afterwards. But yeah, getting there. I remembered I was supposed to sort this out. It took me a while to figure out how I was supposed to go, but it looks like this would have been a bit of plastic there, which that would have attached to, and there would have been a hole that'd go from the wheel arch, inside the wheel arch, and there'd be a coach screw to go down and bolt into there. So I'm presuming this has just been ripped off. It's same for the other side. So I wasn't sure what to do with this. So I'm thinking I might just bond in just a bit of plastic, something the same sort of thickness, to bond the 2 of these together, offer it up to the car, drill through, and then use some fasteners to just something with a thread to take a coach screw. So I'll give that a go. So rather than just muck around with the bumper, I've just traced out what was on the car, and that lines up with that, and you can see the hole should be round there somewhere. So I put it behind. Should be about there. So I need to build this out somehow. Just gonna see what plastic I got in the garage just to cut up, and that'll be easy enough. I could just use this bit to bond to, and a bit on that lip there. But this needs to connect to it as well. Just this bit fits into like a slot on the car, and I just want to make sure it doesn't move around, because otherwise I'm gonna get some flex there. So if I can glue this to the new bit of plastic, I'll give it some strength. So I'm gonna go see what I can do. For now, this is what I'm gonna do. So I found an old storage box that was strong enough that it wouldn't shatter, and still got some flex in it, so I'm confident it's not going to break once it's on the car. So I think one's enough, but I'm going to double them up anyway. So I'll bond them together and then glue that in there, glue that to that. Once that's all set, I'll drill a hole, and once that's all done, I'll probably give it a lick of paint as well. Probably never know. So I've done the same for the other side as well. So again, I'll just go in there, glue them together, glue to that, and then glue that to that, and then drill the hole afterwards. So a bit of a jump forward, but this is where I'm up to with the bumper. It's been painted, and when I say painted, I ran out to the top coat, and it's not brilliant coverage in some areas, but it'll do. But it's been lacquered now as well. And these areas I managed to bond in the plastic and get some sort of spring clip on there, so I'm able to bolt that to the car now. So that's another point of contact. It does need cutting and polishing, but can't do on this. Tried, it was just threatening to throw itself off. So I'm gonna put this back together now, get all the black bits back in and get it bolted to the car, and then I'm gonna give it a good cut and polish and see if it can turn into a bit of at least a 6-footer. I ended up with some blemishes, especially with the lacquer. Half-foot lacquer is bloody awful. I had 2 cans and they were both spitting. I might fix it, I might just get on with my life, yeah, got other things to do. But it's not blue. So at the very least, I can have a badly painted red bumper rather than an ugly, scratched, battered blue bumper. So with the bumper ready to go back on, just been doing some last minute prep on here. So that's the original hole, where the original fitting used to be. Got no idea what it looks like. And that's the hole that someone's drilled. So I've just slapped a bit of paint on those just to keep the rust at bay. And obviously done both sides. I've had to enlarge this hole a little bit. Just chuck some paint on. And I'm going to use, as I showed, I glued some of these onto the bumper cells. And then I'll use the matching bolts. And if I can get in there, I'll show. You've got to go into that lip, and then the bolt will come out through that hole, and it'll bolt into the bumper there. And I was wondering what I could do back here, and I do have these things. They plug in, and then you have like a plastic screw, and that acts like a roll plug. It expands inside. So I think I'll use some of those because I don't know, not perfect, but better than what was there. So between that, and it's going to attach to the wheel liner as well. I think I'll be fine. So it didn't go quite according to plan, but it's on. In the end, I've ended up using nuts and bolts everywhere basically. So in the arches there, and these. So there's 4 bolts, well, 4 nuts and bolts holding everything on now. By removing this trim, taking this off, I did get access to behind, so I could get a nut and bolt on these. So, not perfect, but confident it's not going to fall off. So with the wheel arch liners out, I thought it'd be a good time to get in the wheel arch and give everything a good clean. I just gone over, cleaned up some of the surface rust, slapped some zinc primer on it. Yeah, I'm not going for restoration with this car, but if I can help keep the rust at bay for a few more years, it's worth a go. So I need to get the liner back in now, and it's just held in with these spring clips. Put the liner in, put these over there, and where it attaches to the bumper, you got 2 holes either side. These are the original clips, and they just act like roll plugs. Push that in, and push that in, and it splays it out. But I've only got 2 of those, but I have got these ones. They fit well. So with these ones, you push that in, and then screw that bit in, and same thing, it just splays out. So I'm gonna fit 4 of these because they look smart, and I got 4 of them. Okay, well I think I'm gonna leave it there for today. So that's pretty much done now. It was even further done, but I cocked up a couple of times, burned through the paint and the lacquer. So I've been correcting my mistakes for the last couple of hours. And again, it's like the front one, I'm giving it enough coats, and it's not the best colour match either. But it's not blue. So I'm going to call that one a win. I mean, the thing's falling apart, it's got broken tabs. All the black bits are held on with bits of, cable ties, and nothing's gone back together properly. So it's, yeah, it's an old knackered bumper. But it's not embarrassing anymore. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to call that one a win.